Tom, Sysdig is a big name in the container security space, and part of the reason why is the way that they've embraced open source tools. One of those is called Falco, a container build and runtime monitor. The open source monitoring offering can feed Sysdig with information like IP addresses used by containers, connections, and other types of information. The data can be analyzed by Sysdig to find things that shouldn't be happening in a container farm, which is a good aspect of security in this containerized world. Tom, how important is it to find these problems quickly?
Given the fact that containers have a very ephemeral lifetime, you want to be able to detect these problems and then correct them either in the container itself or in the future very quickly. And if you don't think that that's important, all it takes is just a few minutes of being exposed somehow for someone to be able to, get in and do some nasty work, if you will. And Sysdig is a company that has been doing a really great job of kind of leveraging these things. But as you may know, if you've done any work in the security space, especially with these kind of detection platforms, whether it's a SIEM or a SOAR or XDR or anything else, you have to have data to be able to work off of, because you don't have an anomaly if you don't have a big enough data set to say that looks out of place. And so one of the things that Sysdig has always done a really great job of is taking those tools that they've built using open source methodology and providing them for people to be able to leverage. And that's what Falco is all about. You can run this as a container orchestration tool, but it can feed that data back to the Sysdig platform and effectively say, hey, wait a minute, you're spawning a lot more containers than you're supposed to, or they're coming in with IP addresses that look out of the norm, or why are they suddenly making connections to servers outside of this organization? And that could be your hint that something doesn't look right. And we've told those stories for how many years now? It's like, why did this process suddenly start trying to contact a server in Eastern Europe? Well, I would want to know that right away, because if that's something that's been built into the container runtime that I didn't know about, then every time that container spawns off of a template or some kind of orchestration system, it's going to keep deploying and it's going to keep feeding that system. And I need to know that right away. So I'm really excited to see not only that Sysdig is leveraging tools like this, but they're making them available for us, because the more that people can use Falco in their own deployments, the more that they'll be able to kind of refine that process and help Sysdig get better at these things. So I'm kind of excited to see where they go with it, but also so that I can keep making jokes about Amadeus and other things. But I think that the future is pretty bright for them.